Hey guys, welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna. If you are new here, we are a homeschooling family of 4 and we are in our 5th year of homeschooling. Today, I want to share with you books that we have received in our Timberdoodle Non-Religious Curriculum Kit. If you are unfamiliar with them, they are called What Your Fill in the Blank needs to know as far as grade level, what your preschooler needs to know, what your kindergartner needs to know. Guys, before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic, and I will be certain to link everything that I am talking about down below. Now, you guys, well, you're my kind of people, so you may know about this. But if you're new to the game, you may not know this, but we have used Timberdoodle curriculum kits for 3 years now. This is our 3rd year of using them. And in both our preschool kit and our kindergartner kit, Timberdoodle includes a book, different levels. So for preschool, what your preschooler needs to know, and then what your kindergartner needs to know. And the books are published by a company, the Core Knowledge Company. And if you are unfamiliar with the Core Knowledge Company, they came to be out of the idea that children will succeed in school, in education, in public school, if they are all provided with a base knowledge, basically. If they're all provided with what essentially, knowledge equivalent of like your ABCs. And if you want to see a really good explanation of this, I suggest reading a book called The Knowledge Gap. I will link it down below. It's an amazing book. It really opens your eyes to how unequal, inequitable things are in the public school system. And it takes into account a lot of different reports from different countries and things that have worked and things that definitely don't work. And then it gives you a lot of examples, a lot of studies, and a lot of kind of absurdities. Anecdotal story here. I heard a story, I think it was from my cousin, from a teacher friend of hers who taught in like an inner city school. And her kids were struggling on their tests to understand like mass and volume. Okay, so she said she worked really hard on it. She worked really hard on it. She worked really hard on it, and her kids were performing and they were doing really well. So when the test came, she got their results back. The results showed that they had bombed that section of the test, and she was so confused and she couldn't understand why. Well, come to find out, the children were asked about what was most likely to fit in a wheelbarrow. Like an elephant, a rock, car, like what was most likely to fit in a wheelbarrow. Now, it's not that they didn't understand mass or volume. It was that because they had been raised in the inner city, they all lived in apartments. Living in an apartment, none of them knew what a wheelbarrow was. So it wasn't the question and it wasn't the answer. They had no idea what a wheelbarrow could hold because they weren't familiar with what a wheelbarrow is. And again, read The Knowledge Gap. It's very good. So all of that to say that there is a company, the Core Knowledge Organization, that is striving to let people know, let schools know what the baseline needs to be to allow for success on test questions in life, to make sure that kids that come out of a grade all have the same tools in their tool belt to go on to 5th grade and to be successful in the world. Now, these books that were included in our kit. I absolutely love them. We just read them aloud. We'll try to read from different subjects, and I'm gonna give you a little bit of an up close like flip through, but they're so cute. And right on the cover, you can tell which grade level it's for, and it tells you what it has in it. So the preschooler is Get Ready for Kindergarten, and so it has activities in literature, music, history, science, and arts. Now the kindergartner is preparing your child for a lifetime of learning, and it is literature, mathematics, history, science, and arts, and it's like color-coded on the side. And as you can see, there's not a lot of expectation from our preschoolers and a bit more from our kindergartners, but these books from the Core Knowledge Company are amazing. I love that you can read just one little poem out of them. You can pick them up and set them down. We keep them out. Even our preschooler book is still out because we love having easy access to them. This is one of those things that without the Timberdoodle Company, I might never have found out about these, and I love them. If you need to know more about Core Knowledge, I will link it below. They are secular, so there you go, safe there. They do work hand in hand with many schools and public schools, and they do offer a free, did you hear me? Curriculum online on their website. So be sure to check them out. They are amazing. And I'm not sure how far up these go, but I love them. I love that they come in our kits. They're just really handy and they're pretty, and I'm going to show it to you in just a minute. But if you have ever wondered what your kid needed to know by what age, because that's a really hard thing to grasp. When we first started our homeschooling journey, I looked at the TEA requirements, like for what should be learned in each grade, and it was honestly very technical jargon and really overwhelming for somebody who is not skilled in those things or trained in any of that. So this to me is so much easier to understand, and it does cover, science. We were able to pull out the section on butterflies when we were raising monarch butterflies, and it was really handy, and it goes hand in hand with the other things that we're doing. But again, it's so easy to use because you just open it up and you just read it, and the kids like it. It's glossy, it's shiny, it's pretty, it's really well made. Again, I'm gonna give you like the down shot of this so we can just flip through it for a minute. Okay guys, now let's give a little look at what your insert grade level needs to know here. And we'll start with the preschooler edition. Now it's color coded, which is always fantastic for me. I just like it. And read alouds to get ready for kindergarten. There we go. And then it has the table of contents, and it goes through and it's color coded. Poems, and there's like, especially with the little poems, there's like multiple on a page. So it's just fun. And it's like the little rhymes that we all know as a kid. So poems, songs, stories, history, science, and art. And then it gives you tips for choosing a preschool for your child, things like that, how you should read aloud to your child. It's glossy, it's colorful, and it covers all kinds of things, which it's just fun. I know my kids really like it. Even my 4th grader really likes these books. Oh, you know what? She got really excited because we had seen this in this book, and then we saw this statue in DC. We saw one of the statues in DC, so it was so exciting. And again, if they didn't have this core knowledge to base it on, she would have never known. Okay, so what your kindergartner needs to know gets a bit meatier. Definitely a bit meatier. And it covers language and literature, Common Core standards, because again, they do cater to public school, history and geography, visual arts, music, mathematics, money, measurement, patterns, science, plants, seasons, animals and their needs, human body. And then there's a bit more text on the page. The text is a little bit shorter, but it still has glossy, colorful, and it's got these little tips, kind of like the instructor tips to give you a little bit more to say or a little bit more to do, or how to make the connection to everyday life, which is really important, because if you can make the connection, they just don't have to jump as far as they're learning. So that's also really nice. Beautiful books. Beautiful. And again, we just like having them on the shelf to pull out kind of as we want to. And again, both my kids like them. We use them as a read aloud. They're really handy. So if you're not familiar with these, it's a wonderful, wonderful kind of litmus for where you're at, what you should be teaching, what your kids should be learning, but also a really nice secular resource. And I like that it's all in one book, which is really handy, especially, you know, us homeschoolers are kind of low on book space. So that's nice to have. Guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. I highly recommend anything from the core knowledge. Again, go read the knowledge gap. If you ever want to be more sure of what you're doing as a homeschooler, go read the knowledge gap, guys. It is crazy bananas. And thank you again to the wonderful people at Timberdoodle for opening my eyes and introducing me to the What Your Kiddo Needs to Know series. We absolutely love it here in our homeschool.